Hi, I'm Holly. Welcome to my channel. I've been seeing gorgeous reading journals all over the place, and I thought I'd give it a go this year for 2024 with my first attempt at documenting my yearly reading. I've always loved the idea of bullet journaling and aesthetic planning, but I've never really been able to kind of keep it up as a habit. So I'm hoping that by incorporating it into my bookish life, I'll be able to kind of make it stick. So if you'd like to see how I set it up and what my thought process was behind each of my spreads, keep watching. I'll make sure to timestamp down below when the setup portion ends and the flip through begins in case you want to skip around. Check for that down below. Otherwise, let's get into it. olive. I really wanted the 8x8 size. I was really intrigued by that size, but it was sold out. So I went with the 8.5x11. It's a little on the big side, but I think it'll work really well. And it gives me lots of room to kind of play around as I'm figuring out what I want to keep track of and what I want to document. Since I've never used a reading journal before, I'm not quite sure what's going to work for me. So I wanted to have a little extra wiggle room so I could kind of figure things out as I go. When you first open it up, I did a little collage work on the inner cover. I tried to pick a theme, but I also am a bit of a perfectionist, and so I didn't want to kind of hole myself into one particular colorway or aesthetic and then get hung up on making sure I stick to that. So I just kind of found some images online that I really liked, a couple of quotes. Well, a quote that spoke to me that says, "A reader lives 1,000 lives before he dies. The man who never reads lives only one." As well as a graphic with the definition for the word bibliophile, some bookish images as well, and just created a little title card here. One thing I noticed pretty quickly was that the first page of the bullet journal doesn't really lay very flat, so I didn't want it to be something that I was going to get a lot of use out of, so I made that a table of contents page. Notice how it just kind of flops open. I might do something on this page later, or I might leave it blank. I haven't decided yet. Flipping to the next page, I wanted a place to keep track of social media growth. I've been using Instagram a lot more and TikTok, and then starting to use YouTube as well. So just wanted a place to kind of jot down and keep track of any growth or habits that are starting to develop, as well as set goals for each one. I also set a few reading goals for myself this year. I want to incorporate more books by BIPOC authors, as well as books that have LGBTQ rep. I also want to read more YA lit so I can make recommendations to my students, and a little bit of Greek mythology. On my next page, I have a tracker for the number of books that I would like to read. I set my kind of soft goal at 80. I didn't really start reading pretty regularly and frequently until about midway through this year. And I am going to finish the year at, I think, 37. So I figured I'd double it and bump it up a little bit, although I do have space on this page to go up to 102. Over here I have my book bracket page to narrow down my favorite book of 2024. Here I have a calendar to keep track of anticipated releases by month, as well as to keep track of series that I am reading. I also left some space here so I can add to it if I decide to start any more series. On this page, I have books bought by month, so I can kind of keep track of my book purchasing habits. Here I want to track a couple of authors, but I haven't compiled all that information yet, so I'm going to come back to this page and make that spread a little bit later. Here I have a 2-page spread to keep track of quotes from books as I'm reading. I've always loved to collect quotes, and so I thought it would be nice to have a spread here where I could just jot down any meaningful or beautiful quotes that I come across in my reading. On this page, I have a book format tracker. So by month, the books that I'm reading and in what format, physical, audio, or Kindle, as well as the number of books I've read, the number of pages, and the number of minutes that I've listened to. Now I'm going to get into my monthly spreads. Here's what I'm thinking. I don't know how this is going to pan out, but I'm going to give it a try for the first couple of months and see what sticks. I have a calendar so I can keep track of content ideas and video ideas, and then a monthly wrap up. So a list of the ranked books from January, average rating. I think these are going to be pie charts for the genres that I read, the format that I read, as well as the length, and then any notes or thoughts throughout the month as I reflect. And then over here, I'll keep track of the covers of each of the books that I've read, as well as ratings and any kind of quick notes. And then finally, a monthly spotlight. So whatever book stood out to me the most, I'll kind of feature it on this page with a big picture of the cover, all of the details, summary, thoughts on why I liked it. I haven't set up any future months just in case I get through January and I realize that something's not quite working out, so I can make any changes and really make it a system that works for me. But I did map out each of the months, so all the way through December, so I know just how many pages I need. So then after all my monthly spreads, I have pages set aside. Well, I don't have any more pages set aside. I've got the whole rest of the book. So it's a lot of pages, clearly. But I thought that's where I would keep track of any reading challenges that I set for myself throughout the year. I'm not quite sure what that's going to look like yet. However, I have plenty of room. So that's where we're at. So this is my reading journal for 2024 so far. I am excited to see what this turns into, and it looks like I've got some kind of planning to do for how I'm going to use up the rest of those pages, because there are still quite a few. I will try to track down all of the other creators that I've seen that I kind of gathered inspiration from and make sure their information is in the description box if you're interested in checking it out. If you are keeping track of your reading with a reading journal, let me know how you're documenting it. If you've got videos about it, I'd love to watch. Or if you are on Instagram or any other social media, leave that down below. I'd love to see what you're doing and how you are keeping track of your reading. That's it for me today. Happy New Year and happy reading, friends.